Okay. I'm Angie Torrey, and this is Lindsay Clifton. She's a Spanish teacher, an elementary Spanish teacher in Georgia, and she's going to show us. Uh, my mind just went blank. What are you showing us today?
GoGuardian.
GoGuardian. Yes,
Mhm.
it's a wonderful tool. She's going to tell us how she used it, why she uses it, and why she thinks it's beneficial for teachers.
Right. Okay. And share my screen. Okay. So when I pull up my district page, this is what it looks like. And the GoGuardian app is right here. It looks like that. When you open it, if your district, has the access to it, then all of your classes will be under the pending tab. And so you'll have to go in there and physically accept all of your classes. And then they show up in the active. And for mine, I have, kindergarten through fifth grade. As you can see, it has all of them named differently. In the settings here, you can click on edit class and you can change the name of it and everything. I haven't had time to do that this year, but if you have multiple different classes, I would suggest changing the names of all of them. But anyways, GoGuardian is great because it connects to the kids' Chromebooks, and they it will show you exactly what they're watching, exactly what they're clicking on. You can see their tabs open in real time. And so it really, really helps if you're taking tests or if you're giving tests. It helps to proctor the test. You can set up scenes in your GoGuardian. Like if you see on the page, there's an allowed websites list and then there's a blocked websites list. So if you don't want your kids, getting onto translator websites or anything, then you can block them from those. Or if you want them to only access the websites that you want them to access, then you can add those onto your allowed list, and it basically sets a scene for their screen so you can control exactly what they're looking at.
Can you
Uh,
show us how to block a certain website?
Okay, so under this blocked websites, we can just create a list. Um, Name this list. Yeah, we can just call it no social media. Um, you don't have to add a description. The icon colors are not really that important. Move this thing out of the way. Okay, so you click the next, and then you just type out something like Instagram, I guess, and it pops up right here. You can click add. You can
Oh,
see that it pops up with multiple different, there's a whole entire list of different things. So if you don't want them getting on any social media at all, you can just click on the add all websites.
oh, nice. And what
Hmm.
if you don't want them to go to Google Translate or Word Reference?
Okay, so let's just type out Google. You can just type out Google Translate. Haven't quite tried to figure out how to just get to the Google Translate. Um, but also if there's another website, like another word reference or Spanish dictionary website that you do want them to go on, you could just add it into your allowed list, and it
Uh,
would be able to take them there instead of them being able to use Google Translate.
well,
Um,
how about if you type in Spanish dictionary?
there's Okay, Spanish dict pops up, Collins Dictionary, Cambridge,
So would you have to
Urban
add
Dictionary.
all of those,
Yeah, I think you would have to add them all separately if you want to
or just
block them
click
from it.
add all websites?
Yeah, you could just click the add all websites and it would add it for you. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you just click on save, and so then it pops up, says no social media right here on the bottom.
Okay, awesome.
Um, this is also really helpful if you have a calendar, like if you want to make a schedule based on what your actual daily schedule is. Like for me, some classes I only see them once a week. And so if I wanted to make a 45-minute session just for their class, I could turn it on at a certain time and turn it off at a certain time. One of the things that I really like about it is that um, it's live, so they shouldn't be able to turn it off. There are ways around it. If they have a VPN, they can find a way around it, but you'll usually be able to tell, especially if you're in the same room with them, if you see them clicking around and doing all kinds of things and you don't see that activity on your screen, then you'll know that like there's something, between that computer and this one that just aren't, meshing.
What's a VPN?
That's a great question. It's just a way of getting around a certain network, I guess is the best way
Okay.
to describe it. In our district, they're not allowed to have them on their computers because that's changing the device in a way that goes against the acceptable use policy, I guess. But if I go down here, I'm going to pick a 4th grade class and just you can turn on the chat feature. So if you see a kid doing something, you can just type them a message really quick and be like, hey, I see what you're doing. This
Yeah.
isn't quite right. If they're all working on different things and you're trying to really like differentiate, it'll be an easy way to keep track of what they're doing. So you can turn the chat on. You can control the time. You can do a custom end time, 30 minutes all the way up to 90 minutes. You click on start class and classroom session has been disabled for you. Okay, but when you do turn it on and it actually works, it pops up with every single screen that is connected to that class at your
So
school.
you can see everybody on your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 36 students, you have 36 little squares and you
Yep.
can see what they're doing. That would
You
be
have 36
awesome.
little squares, and on those little squares, there is, I hate that this functionality is not working right now because my organization is not letting me do this. But on those screens, there are options for, open a new tab or close this tab. I did actually have to use that one time while we were proctoring a test. I saw a girl switching between the first attempt of the test and then the new one. Saw her flipping back and forth between those two screens. And so I ended up just hitting close out screen on her tab. And so on her computer, it just went away. And so then she knew, oh, she saw what I was doing. I wasn't supposed to be doing that. So, it will help you catch people if they are cheating, especially if it's on a test or a quiz. Um,
So
yeah.
the main
There
reason that I, as a teacher, would want this is because when all the kids are on their Chromebooks, I can see live what everybody's looking at.
exactly.
That's awesome. So even if I haven't turned off Google Translate, I can see if they're using it.
Exactly.
Yeah, in an instant. It's
Mhm.
like better than this might be a really fast way to correct homework too, instead of walking around going check, check, check. It's like, yep, you did it.
Yeah, you can definitely see. And one of my favorite things lately is that there's now a GoGuardian parent app. So if, this is something new that our district is doing right now, so this is still in the like baby stages of it, but you can run reports on here and you can select a certain classroom. Just gonna go select I don't know, some random 5th grade. You can select a certain student
Mhm,
and then a date range for
mhm,
that student.
mhm.
So I'm just gonna click on one. You can click on the exact day that you saw them, so you can see exactly what it looks like. And when you click on view report, most of these don't have anything here because the students haven't been using their Chromebooks lately, but it'll tell you exactly the number of time spent, the top 5 websites, the top 5 documents they had open, the top 5 Google searches, and any intervention is listed here. So you don't have to keep track of like how many times did I have to close out this tab for this kid. It's already right here on the report for you. It will show you how many times did you lock the student's screen, how many tabs did you open, how many tabs did you close, how many blocked sites did they try to access.
That
It
is
will,
amazing. So if
yeah,
there's a student that you're slightly suspicious of, you can just check that one student, right?
exactly. So you can check that exactly one student if you suspected that they were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. It will also you can take screenshots, like a screen capture, in case they actually want proof of like this is exactly what happened. And then
No,
this
no more your word against the kids.
right, and this down here has a comprehensive list of every website, document, and search for the entire time range specified. So as if you want to activate it as soon as your kids walk in the room and let it end as soon as they walk out, then you can have exactly that time, and this will tell you exactly every single thing that they did and when they did it, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. And
But you haven't used it because this is for parents.
no, this specific website is my teacher website. They just haven't used their Chromebooks with me, so mine doesn't have any information on it. This is still like our fourth class meeting, so it's still like week one for us. We're still doing pretty heavy on the behavior expectations because they
Right.
only see me once a week.
Right.
So we're just now starting to get into content, but once they actually do get into it, all of this stuff would fill in. Um,
Awesome.
there was another point. Oh, for the parent app, it did show us an example of it. If you This has a switch to director option. I'm assuming if you're a teacher, you could click on the teacher button and it would say switch to parent, and so then it would just show you your own kid. And for all of the parents that are signed up for the GoGuardian parent app, they would get this detailed report at the end of every day if they chose to do that. So
Oh
they could
my
see
goodness.
exactly what their kids are doing. So I know that's a big thing, especially in high school. If you don't really know what your kids are looking at on the internet, this is the probably the best way to find out. So
What? Oh, I'm so excited about this. I mean, especially with a lot of students are on porn sites, and that is the last place you want them to be for their emotional and spiritual growth. And now you have a way of tracking that, right?
exactly.
Okay. Good. Anything else?
I think that's pretty much it. You can email these reports. If you have you can select exactly the boxes that you want to send in the report. You can write a message. You can send that straight to the parents. Um, so that's pretty cool. If they don't have the parent app option, you can still email these reports just as a regular teacher.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. How much does GoGuardian cost, and does your school pay for it?
I am honestly not sure about that. I know that our district they've just had it since as long as I've known about it, so I'm not exactly sure on the pricing or anything.
Okay,
But
I'll have to look that up then. But this
yeah,
is mostly something that the school would purchase, not an individual teacher?
yeah, yeah. It would definitely come with all of the other like if your program, so for example, ours has if I can get to it, um on our Clever portal, it shows all of the apps that are available to us. So if you're on Canvas or whatever your learning management system is, if you have Canva, for us, we use Infinite Campus, which is, a whole nother thing. But all of your apps can be right here at the top, and this is just another one of them. Um, but
Oh,
if
I see.
you,
Ed Puzzle. I love Ed Puzzle.
yeah, it's pretty great. I love that they have things already made for you. You can just like plug and chug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Awesome.
yeah. I
Uh,
think
it's a
that's pretty much.
wonderful, wonderful site. Would you call it a site or a tool?
Um, that's a great question. I mean, it's GoGuardian.com, so it technically is a site,
It's a
but
site.
I think it's a really good um classroom management tool, honestly, with the way that the world is going in the digital age. Kids live their whole entire lives on these technologies. So it's really, really good to be able to have a connection with them, especially as a parent, but also as a teacher. You can see exactly the things that they visit, even if it's just some like during free time, you can see the websites that they visit. You might be able to get to learn a little bit more about your students if they watch fishing competitions or something. I had a kid that did that, and so, you get to see exactly what they're doing. So it's really cool. It's really worth checking out.
Even on their phone? Does it?
On their phone, I don't think it would work. I think it has to be like a device that the district has control over.
I see.
Like if you're in a district that gives out Chromebooks or, laptops for all of the students, then you would be able to do something like this. As far as a personal one or using it on a personal device, I'm not exactly sure how that works.
I would
But
think that the parents could buy GoGuardian and then track from their child's phone, but I don't know. Since you're telling me, I'm learning from you here. So thanks so much. It's so interesting.
yeah, no problem. It's definitely helpful. Um,
How much do you use it every day? Do you think, or would you think you will use it?
when I was still in high school doing my student teaching, we probably used it about once a week. We were we were pretty heavy on like, communication and like, actively like face-to-face communication instead of just on the computers.
Right.
But it really just depends on who you are and how often you use your Chromebooks. If you really want to sit there and watch them get on their Chromebooks and do all of this stuff, um, and how often, if you decide that you want to proctor a test on here, it's really easy because you can lock down everything. And so then you don't have to be walking around the room, and then as soon as you leave this little corner, this kid back here decides to start flipping his screens again. They can't do that anymore because you have them all side by side by side. So
So if, let's say I don't want to hand correct every single final, and so I have the students do a Google form final that I've created. I don't have to worry about them cheating, right? Because I can watch them. Oh my goodness. This is earth shattering. This is earth changing.
so great. It's so great.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for helping. I'm gonna stop record now.
Okay.